4D Ghostly Graveyard Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish.
Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing you one of my last Halloween videos. There are two more after this, but we are getting down there at the end, so that's terribly sad. But for this one is going to be a ghostly graveyard. So it looks like just a cute little graveyard. That's a weird statement, but it looks like a graveyard over the top of the nail. And then there's a little piece of wire that you push it up and a little ghosty appears. I love the way this one turned out. It's actually surprisingly easy. All of the stuff in there has minimal details on it, and it just has a great little end effect. So I hope you guys like this as much as I do, and don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well.
So I'm going to begin with a little marble background of white, black, and then a silver metallic acrylic, and then a very glittery silver acrylic, just to kind of make it look like a smoky, ghostly background. Just kind of like a night sky that maybe isn't so settled, kind of windy. I don't know, windy was my goal with this background. So just keep adding that little marble in there. My white and my black acrylic really like to blend together and create their own version of a gray or a silver. So after I had my whole background on there, I just went through and added a little bit more of my glittery silver acrylic, a little bit more black, and a little bit more white, just to kind of bring out some more of the variations. And then I'm going to be encasing the nail with a layer of clear acrylic to make sure that it will be nice and strong. And also this will add a little bit of a protective layer over the top of my glitter acrylic to keep it from filing and not looking nearly as sparkly and gorgeous. So add that. Then I am going to be filing it into shape with my e-file, starting out with a pretty coarse bit to remove any bulk that there may be, and then afterwards I switch to a finer bit just to refine the surface texture and make sure that it is really nice and smooth. So now on a nail form backing, and I just set my nail next to it so I have kind of a idea of size, I'm going to be sculpting my grave markers. So first I just have a rounded one, just like that, not anything too fancy. I did want to keep them 3 different styles. So I did one that was just a round one, and then I did one that was a pretty big cross. So there's the cross section of my cross. I'm going to add the longer sides coming down and then a little bit coming up, so just like that. So start out by making a T shape and then add a little bit of the top of the cross above that. And when you're doing this, work slowly, don't try to rush it. On a nail form backing, you really almost have to wait for the acrylic to set a moment before you can work on it too much, because the acrylic is going to spread a lot more than if it were on a rougher surface. But if you sculpt on something that's a rougher surface, you're not going to be able to pop it off. So, kind of a balancing act there. So just bear in mind, you may take a little bit longer than sculpting it on just the nail. And so then on the third one, I decided to combine and make the best of both worlds, and I added a smaller gravestone and then a little cross above it. So that one, the little cross above it, is definitely the most time consuming. As you can see, I'm constantly pushing in the little sides to give it that cross shape, and you have to pretty much do that until it's set, or at least mostly set. I added a little bit over the top of my first one because it was pretty thin, make it a little stronger, a little thicker. And then I'm going to arrange my grave markers in the order that I want them to be. I didn't want the 2 crosses next to each other, so I separated those. And then I'm going to take some more of that black acrylic and attach them at the bottoms. And as I'm doing this, I'm not really worried about smoothing that out so that you can't see that I attached them later. I left it a little lumpy, in fact. That way it almost looks like there's grass or there's some kind of dirt or whatever piled up around the bottoms. It's just a shadow, so you don't really see what it is, but you can see that there is a little bit more dimension there at the bottom. And then I'm going to take some more of that black acrylic and I'm going to make 2 small little rectangles. These are for the little side pieces that are going to hold your gravestones up away from the nail, so there's space behind them for your ghost to live. So just sculpt those 2 little spacers or side pieces, whatever you want to call them. And then you also need to make a bottom piece. So there's the bottom piece, and I sculpted that right underneath my grave marker so I have an idea of size once again. So I'm going to sculpt those. So the top line is the same length as my grave markers are wide. And then I just kind of cut the sides in like a trapezoid because the nail isn't quite as wide, so it fit in what I'm eyeballing it as. So I'm going to take my 2 side pieces, those rectangles, and I'm going to glue them to the side of the nail, coming straight up as close to the tip as I can get it. So I'm just going to glue those down, and I'm using tweezers that I have dedicated to nail glue, so that if I get some on there, it's not the end of the world. So just glue those 2 little side pieces down so they go straight up, and as you can see, they're sticking up away from the nail quite a bit. And then add some nail glue on the ends of those, and pick up your little grave markers and set them on top of their little platform that you have made for them, and hold it away from the nail at the back side so that it doesn't actually touch the nail and won't. You do really need to make sure that you're conscious of leaving space behind them for your ghost, because if there's not enough space for your ghost to be behind there, he's not going to fit, and then this whole thing doesn't really work. Then glue the bottom on it, and then after you have that done, you'll probably see, you can see on mine, that I have little gaps here and there with where the little pieces didn't fit up perfectly. Since you are completely eyeballing this, that is probably going to happen, so just fill them in with a little bit more of your black acrylic here and there to get rid of any of those gaps. Also, adding that little bit more acrylic is going to significantly add strength. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to be painting the little markers on my gravestones, my little epigraphs, if you will. So I'm going to do RIP on one of them, and after I did this, I'm thinking, why did I write the simplest thing on the largest gravestone? That just didn't make sense. And then I put some dates on a different one, and then I wrote John Doe on the last one. I would probably switch it up and still put the 1910 on the one that I put the dates on, but then put the RIP on the cross and then write John Doe on the bigger one just so I'd have more space. But of course, you can do things whatever way you'd like. And then I'm going to just, with the white paint still, I'm going to paint a little bit of a moon in the background. So as you're doing this, just add the little crescent moon. You can do this however you like and add as much detail to your moon as you want. And then I'm going to be applying a layer of gel sealer over the background, and also try to apply it kind of underneath the gravestones because that does show up. Cure that, apply matte top coat over your stones, and then I'm going to be making my ghosty. So I'm going to make my ghost on a nail form backing with white acrylic, and then I'm just going to kind of sculpt that just like that, very simple ghost shape. If you guys can hear the cat that was just meowing, that's my kitten Max, who is standing right outside the door, probably with her nose pressed against it, yelling at me for leaving her outside. And then I'm going to glue a piece of wire to the back of my ghost, paint his little face with black, and then apply some matte top coat over the top of that, and that is it. I absolutely love the way this nail turned out. If you guys decide to give it a try, please share recreations with me on Facebook or Instagram. I'd love to see them, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!